Welcome back to another episode of Alestletics. Sam here and joining you along with Audrey O'Rennick. And Audrey, how are you doing today?
Well, as always, I am tired.
Yeah.
I actually, every single time we record this podcast, I wake up approximately 30 minutes before, and it takes 15 minutes to get here. So I have 15 minutes of consciousness.
Wow.
And now I'm here, ready to discuss. Is that a Team USA hat, or is that just a USA hat?
It's a Team USA. Well, no, it's a generic USA hat, but it's like for Team USA.
Okay, well, close enough.
Yeah, you know. Well, let's start off with a bit of getting the low out of the way. A bit of a correction from not only last week's podcast, but also my view from the sidelines. I incorrectly stated that head coach Brian Barone was expiring on his contract at the end of this season. And, well, I was diligently and rightfully corrected very quickly that he is not on an expiring contract. They signed an extension at the end of last season, which is a good thing for everyone else. Kind of looks bad on me. And,
It's okay.
and that is my apologies for not confirming that with the athletics department. However, it is good news for the SIUE Cougars as Barone is signed long-term. It doesn't completely nullify the discussion because just because a coach is signed doesn't mean they can't be picked up by another team at any point.
Unlikely in my opinion, but it's definitely something that can happen anywhere.
Absolutely. And the framing of the story was not meant to be like Barone is leaving.
He's leaving us.
He's going. He's gone.
No.
No, that was not my point. And my point was that the SLU head coach and that, again, this is also rumored. This wasn't even confirmed, is being offered potentially a lot more money than what SLU can pay. And SIUE is in a very similar boat. They can't really offer the big bucks for high-quality coaching. But Barone has given them high-quality coaching while he's been here, and he's choosing to stay, which I think is really a testimony to him. And when we issued the correction, one of the things I made sure to put in there was that his loyalty is also important for the team's morale. And Audrey, maybe you can speak to that a little bit too.
Well, I mean, it just goes back to that family dynamic he's created. He's so big on family, like I said, not only within his own, bloodline, but also within the team, within the community. And I just think because he's so family-oriented and because he's created this huge kind of family at SIUE, he's not only a phenomenal coach, but he's also, just a good person.
Yeah, he really is. So, again, apologies for that misinformation there.
He is here to stay.
He is here to stay for a little while longer at least, and hopefully for a really long time, because, again, if you didn't listen, you should go check that episode out. We talked about how close he is to being really SIUE's greatest coach of all time, and not just for the fact that he got them to the NCAA bracket, but more because he's almost the all-time winning coach. So hopefully the extension will pay off for the Cougars in terms of getting Barone there, and he can engrave himself in SIUE history for that time. Let's turn into that basketball section, though. Well, in terms of getting him there, it's not been a great last couple of games, and that's not all. That's obviously not on Barone, more on the team. The men's basketball is now 17-11 overall. They are 10-7 in OVC, and they dropped their last two, which means we talked about it a while ago. They had control of their destiny, and they're kind of letting the control slip away. They play the number one ranked in the OVC, Tennessee State, at 1 p.m. today, this Saturday afternoon. So, again, that's not completely hopeless. You play Tennessee State.
You never know.
You play Eastern, and then you play Western. So, and Eastern and Western are at home. So maybe you'll get a dominating win over the number one team, and you close out the season with two wins over teams that are ranked lower than you. So we'll see if they can do that. I don't know. Tennessee State's going to be tough.
maybe Louis will show up and help everyone out.
Yeah, we need Louis. Speaking of Louis, the Cougars, the women's team, they have found some success on the road. They have won 3 straight, 13-14 overall now. They are 6-11 in OVC play. So they've almost gotten back to 500 overall. That's an important note because going into the conference play, they were 7-3. So they had a winning record above 500. Conference play's been tough. it's been a little rocky at points. Then Louis came along and we saw a high and we went back to some lows and now we're back on a really good high here. 3 straight wins. Here are the scores of those games. 69-61 over SEMO, which was an impressive win. 62-52 over UT Martin and 76-60 over Tennessee Tech. Importantly, UT Martin and Tennessee Tech are the 2 teams ranked ahead of them. So that's really impressive there for the Cougars, who now rank 8th in the OVC. And I believe that is on the playoff line, but don't quote me on that. But I believe that is on the playoff line, so they would be in the playoffs as of today. And they just beat the 2 teams ahead of them. So that, men's basketball, that's how you do it. I know, it's a tough
These women are showing how it's done.
Yeah, which is really, really important for them, too, because they need kind of a good run here going in. And this is the time to get hot because they still have 3 games left similar to the men. They play Tennessee Tech today as well. They play Tennessee State today at 4 p.m., but they also play Western, who's number 1. Which is a tough one, and they play Eastern. So they're both lower than them. Tennessee State and Eastern are lower than them in the standings, so they need to beat these teams. They're going to make the playoffs. They need to beat these teams. And if you could beat Western, who's been really, really good this year, that's a bonus. But also, maybe I'll let Audrey share the exciting news about Macy Sylvie that happened in the most recent game.
Yeah, so in the game versus Tennessee Tech, she scored her 1,000th point with a Cougar. Yeah, with a Cougar off of a layup.
On a layup. It was a really good play by Macy Sylvie. She's obviously been a very dominant force for the Cougars over the last 4 years, and it's really nice to see another story of an Edwardsville native raised here, and then also playing all 4 seasons here. The Cougars were very fortunate to have Rayshawn Taylor, who played all 4 seasons with the Cougars, who graduated last year. It's good to see Sylvie kind of following in that and being kind of a statement here for the women's basketball team. Other notes from women's basketball, Keoka Proctor, I believe, led the way in points against Tennessee's Tech that last game. So Lauren Miller, Keoka Proctor, we had them on the show. Go listen to it. They're living up to their potential, and it's nice to see the women's basketball put 3 together.
Standouts all around, from freshmen, seniors, just all. It's a well-rounded team.
Graduate students have done well. I mean, really, there is not an element of that team that you can't point to and say there's a weakness. I don't know why I think we talked about it with Coach Sam, but the OVC this season is just so stacked. There's a lot of talent in the OVC. From Lindenwood to Western to all of them, really. I mean, could really point to any team besides maybe the 2 at the bottom. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of talent, there really is a lot to go there. And the Cougars have done well recently. Obviously, one more win would put them at 500, and I think that would be a nice spot to kind of go into those last 2 games of the season. Taking a look at games today, though, tennis, who is 5-1, will verse Marquette and Milwaukee, obviously from Wisconsin, at 11, so that's an hour after our show going live. So yeah, a little bit of time to kill. Pop your popcorn right now, because women's tennis is good.
Stop. Popcorn at 11 a.m.
I mean, hey, I've done it. Then you have softball with another series. Softball all over the place, and they are really going crazy. They played yesterday, but today they'll play Southern University. Southern University, by the way, I had to look this up. What a generic name.
Southern University.
And it is from Louisiana. I did not know that. I had to Google that one. And they'll play Southern University at 11:30 a.m. So you can watch tennis for 30 minutes, and then you need the red zone where you can watch both.
Oh my gosh! Split screen.
Yeah, split screen. And then with the softball will also play. Well, if you're just committed to tennis, don't worry. Softball plays at 2 p.m. as well versus North Texas. So lots of softball action every Saturday, I've noticed, when we do our show. You have a lot of SIUE sports content to get you through your day.
That is true. And then we have baseball versus Southeastern Louisiana at 2 p.m. Sorry, these names are just they pick a direction.
Everyone in Louisiana was like, Northeastern, West.
Everybody's picking a direction.
Northeastern, Northwestern. I don't know, like that. Louisiana just names their colleges based off of directions, which, you know what, good for them.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And baseball will play at 2 p.m. So all on the road. Although baseball did play, I believe it was on Thursday, and I want to say it was against Illinois State. They did lose that game, but still, that was their home opener here at SIUE. And then finally, we'll close out with some Olympic news. I know we talked about it last week, but it was a bigger news this week. U.S. women's hockey team won gold over Canada. Woo! 2-1
over Canada is crazy.
Yeah, Canada really always the favorites usually in hockey. And we talked about last week how this U.S. team is a lot younger, and that was one of the critiques against Canada was that they brought a lot of experience, and I was kind of surprised by that because usually experience gets, especially in like Olympic setting, experience is what's highly sought after.
Yeah.
Not that I thought the United States would win going into the game, and they almost didn't. But they did. 2-1 in overtime, and Hillary Knight, the captain of the USA team, she got the game tying goal off a deflection, became the all-time leading goal scorer and point leader in U.S. women's Olympic hockey, which crazy. That's a very exciting title for her, and probably her last Olympic setting. Maybe, we're not sure on that. Obviously, we'll see what happens in 4 years. Other side notes. Oh, on top of that, Hillary Knight also got engaged while at the Olympics, which I thought was kind of crazy. And then we have Joy Dunn, who is the St. Louis native. We mentioned her last week. She won gold here for the St. Louis region. Nice representation there. And Megan Keller was the one that scored the golden goal. So, fun facts from the U.S. Olympics. And I believe, I can't remember her name, but a figure skater also won gold.
Yes, she is a baddie.
She is.
Let's
get her name.
I think it's like, it starts with A. Alyssa. Lou.
Alyssa Liu, yes.
Yeah, I've been watching like clips from that everywhere. She's just a joy.
Yep.
She's just smiling every single like picture. She's just cheesing.
So Alyssa Liu did win gold. And again, in my opinion, another representation, 20 years old, Alyssa Liu. So that's really impressive for just the United States in general. I think it's a great testimony to our Olympic sports at universities and our Olympic training facilities. And it's also, again, kind of building off of last week, a sign don't lose these sports, even though basketball and football are great. We don't want to forget about our Olympians and our Olympic aspirations when those sports come around. And the Summer Olympics will be in Los Angeles too, so that'll be fun.
Are you gonna go there?
No, I'm not going to Los Angeles, Audrey. But
okay.
Just gonna pass on that one.
Okay.
But if you are interested in Olympic action, St. Louis City Park Energizer Park now will be hosting some of the like preliminary rounds of games here in St. Louis for soccer. So that's pretty cool. Some Olympic action in St. Louis is pretty awesome. But yeah, so anyway, U.S. women win gold. We'll see if the men do. I don't know. It's not as likely.
They got Hughes.
All right, we're going to keep talking about it. Quinn Hughes scores the overtime winner. That day of hockey was probably one of the greatest days of hockey of all time. Canada losing to Czechia, I think it was 1-0. I don't remember. I don't remember the scores, but Canada was losing to Czechia, which Canada is by far the favorite to win in the men's, and they tied it, and then they won in overtime. That one ended. Then we had Slovakia had a really good game as well. They moved on. That's who the United States will be playing. This is yesterday. The United States will have played Slovakia yesterday, so we don't know the result of that. But, and then who else moved on? There was another one. Oh, it was Finland. Finland beat the Swiss, and they move on too. Finland will play Canada yesterday as well, but we're recording that before that happens.
Finland will play Canada yesterday.
Yep. Yeah, well, they're technically haven't played at the time of this recording.
You guys will know though.
Yeah, you guys can look it up. It could be any of those 4 teams playing for gold. We're gonna pretend we know.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Although most likely the favorites to move on are Canada and the United States, so we'll maybe get a rematch from the women's game. But yeah, no, really, really exciting Olympic stuff. And we got to talk about. Well, we did talk about Canada cheating, I think, last week.
No, we didn't.
Oh, we didn't? Okay, well,
we just talked about our love for curling.
We did. Well, so Audrey and I talked about curling, and Canada's like, we're gonna vandalize this sport with the touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't watched it, obviously you can't see, but just go and look it up. The little point
Tell them what they did.
So basically, when you release the rock, you're not supposed to like retouch it again. And even when you're sweeping or whatever the official term is, you're not supposed to interfere with any of the rocks. I mean, it happens obviously, but if it's incidental, that's one thing. But basically, when the Canadian Olympian released it, right before it would cross the release line, he would give it a poke to like push it forward and give it some extra momentum. And that is illegal. You cannot do that.
Why did they do
that?
But
the best part, if you go back and watch, I can't say it because he does a lot of swearing. But he goes, I didn't do that. He said, I didn't effing do that.
And then cue like the slow-mo clip.
Yeah, dude. And then NBC, the American media company, it is just cues the highlight reel.
Oh my God. I didn't do that, bro.
That was...
Be so serious.
We got our revenge.
They did not. They did not succeed in curling.
No. Or women's hockey. Canadians, man. Sigh. It's always good to beat them, though. It feels good as a U.S. citizen to watch Canada lose in their favorite sport, you know.
Yeah.
And then we get the memes. Although, I do have to add, after the one guy did the touch, I saw all these memes of people, like, flicking things, you know. Do you know the painting where, like, it's, like, God and Adam, and they're, like, pointing?
Touching, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Someone replaced that with Adam with the curling rod. And I can't not talk about it.
That's gonna like haunt that guy forever.
For life. It's just so funny. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what, if this was Alestle After Hours, that would be my session.
That's the tea, y'all.
Anyway, so that's the Olympics, and that was an update on SIU sports. Most likely, we'll see how the basketball teams finish out their season, and we can dive a little more into baseball and softball as OVC is in March. So we'll be looking forward to that. I think that does everything, though. So don't forget to check out Alestle After Hours at 10 a.m. after this. Bye.